Welcome to Yin Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. So today we're going to focus on inner strength. I think in our daily lives we can forget how strong we are and how much we've accomplished. And our nervous systems are always on high alert for danger. So they focus on the things that are negative. And so just, those natural instincts also focuses our mind on the things that are negative. And, the world is perfectly happy to beat us up emotionally. And, we beat ourselves up emotionally way too much. So we're going to try to focus on inner strength. And as we, do move through the physical practice, we're working on calming the nervous system so we can feel a little happier, can think happier thoughts, and then also focusing our minds on happier things. We can calm our nervous system. So mind and body completely intertwined. As much as we may act like they're separate things, they really function together. So see if you can notice anything at all about how you are. Maybe reflecting a little bit. Is there something that that you've been beating yourself up about recently? I've been having all these thoughts lately about childhood, about things I wish I hadn't done in my childhood, right? So we can even beat ourselves up in that way, and things that are long since over. And so how are you feeling about your inner strength? Are you feeling pretty strong today, this week, this month? Or are you feeling a little deflated? Then see if you can come into a sense of gratitude. So maybe there's something in particular. So you might choose that amongst all the rain we've been having, we've had a few nice days. So there may be some gratitude for something like that, or some specific thing. Or it can just be trying to call up this sense of gratitude within the body. So trying to just feel, what's the emotional sensation of gratitude? What does that feel like in the body? And then take a deep breath. So in yoga, right, these little mental impressions, so things about, what we've done wrong, things from our childhood, things from our past, good or bad, that everything that we experience, visually, the things that we hear, the things that we feel, our emotions, every experience, leaves a mental impression on us, and those are called samskaras. So I don't know, just maybe a little food for thought in there about samskaras that we carry all of these little mental impressions, and they and how they impact us, what we think about ourselves, what we feel about ourselves. I think reflecting a lot lately on childhood and family and how that's shaped me. And I had something come to me recently that about family stuff, and what I wrote down was, I don't want to be who you tell me I am anymore. So those samskaras, right, that shaped me into thinking thinking certain things about myself that aren't actually true, that aren't actually me. All right, we're just going to do a little standing forward fold. So you might think about that in this, meditative practice on inner strength. Have other people placed concepts on you about who you are, and then you've taken that in and made that your own, and perhaps that's not really true. All right, just see if you can let your back lengthen out, let your legs lengthen out. Imagine that we're beginning to release out of all of our energy centers these samskaras, these impressions, these negative samskaras. So again, they can be positive or negative. So letting go of all the things that aren't really true. And then we're going to come all the way up to standing. We're just going to straighten up. Take your arms a little bit back behind you so the shoulder blades come back. And then reach your arms way up overhead. So try to reach out first, feeling that stretch. And then bring arms up. And then we're going to let those hands come down. All right, so we're going to take it into a child's pose. If that doesn't work for you, maybe try being just flat on your abdomen. And if that doesn't work for you, try maybe just being flat on your back here. Maybe with something across your abdomen if you want to go that way, if you want to go to your back. A blanket or a towel or something. I forgot to say, we're going to try to do a supported back bend, so some prop to do a back bend with. So blanket or a towel. So again, if you can't get into child's pose comfortably, maybe just being on your back and something across your abdomen for a little bit of weight and compression on the vagus nerve. And just that kind of, I think it can be like a really just calming experience to have some pressure on the abdomen. So again, if you can be in child's pose or on your belly, you can do those things because that'll put a little more pressure on the abdomen. But if not, try being on your back with something on your belly. All right, so if you're doing a child's pose, knees can be close or knees can be wide. You can do arms straight out, you can do arms under your head or a prop underneath your head. Okay. Oh, and then just notice how you're doing. Oh, I think I'm going to shorten this one a little bit. Let's go for 3. Oh, not 43, just 3. Okay. So again, feel free to move at any point if you need to. Let yourself shift a little bit. Just starting to settle in. Feel that support of the earth, the floor beneath you. Imagine that. Again, all these mental impressions, all these samskaras are just slipping away. So you don't even have to really think about what they are. Just imagine any negative impressions about who you are, things you've done. Let them all slip away. And then we're going to come up. So if you're on your back, you can stay there. Otherwise, hands and knees. Round into a cat, head and tailbone down, spine up towards the ceiling. And then let your spine gently drop down towards the floor. Let the head and the chest come up. And then we're going to round it back into cat. And inhale into dog. And let's look to one side. So looking to your right, let that right shoulder blade pull back. The left one pulls forward a little bit. And then we're going to take it to the other side, looking to the left, pulling that left shoulder back. And we're going to come back to center, round into a cat. And we're going to bring the bottoms of the toes onto the floor. So I'm just going to stretch the feet here. Letting your hips come back towards your heels. So you might feel it into your ankles and your lower legs. And then we're going to lift up, squeezing the toes. Bring them on down to the floor. Hips come back towards your heels. A little pressure on the tops of the toes. All right, and then we're gonna lift the toes up, let them breathe. And then we're gonna shift to our back. So let's see, coming on down. So you don't need a prop under your head. I just often prefer to use a prop under my head. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. So again, feeling that support of the floor beneath you. Take it into a twist. So you can always do just a regular reclining twist. If my back or my hips are really tight, that's often what I prefer. Just arms out at shoulder height, and then you're letting your knees just drop over to the side. And you can adjust. Sometimes if my shoulders bothered me, I might bring that back arm onto the body. But we're trying to get a little bit of a twist in the spine. So you want your shoulder blades to be moving backward a bit as the legs are coming over, right? So the hips are kind of pulling over and the shoulders are going backward. If you can get into a cat pulling its tail, and there's a lot of variations on cat pulling its tail, you're gonna basically roll to your right side and bring your left leg across. My knee will usually bend. Some people are super flexible and they can grab their toe or their foot here. For me, this leg usually has to relax a little bit. So that bottom leg, the right leg, you want to try to drag that backward a little bit. So use your toes, see if you can slide that leg back. So now the pelvis starts to roll a little bit more towards the floor. So the front of that right hip and right leg start to turn down. So you might choose to then be a little bit more on the side of the body. That might be a little bit more comfortable. So for me, I really rarely ever can get my shoulder blades close to the floor on this pose. Some people can. Some people can twist that far and get their shoulder blades back on the floor. So if you can do that comfortably, that's fine. If not, maybe stay a little bit more on your side. And so that's sometimes why I like a pillow under my head. And then you can reach for the foot. So again, not everybody's gonna get the foot, not everybody's gonna get it comfortably. But if you can get the foot, then you can squeeze in part of the time, stretching your quads, or you can let that foot pull or drift out a bit, shifting what you're experiencing in the shoulder. All right. And so if you're doing cattail and it becomes too much, you can slide back out into just that regular, what I call a little simple reclining twist. Or let me scooch back here a little bit. And so it's just all about this moment. So what's happening in this moment? So actually I saw Brandon did this on Instagram recently, and he called it the bretzel. So if you happen to catch that one, pretty much the same pose. And he is super bendy. He could get his shoulder blades all the way back to the floor. All right, so working on letting go here. Feeling that support of the floor. So in these twists, I don't typically find cattail to be the most compressive for me. You may find it the most compressive on the abdomen. So you may find you're struggling a little bit to breathe here. For me, I think because I can't get my shoulder back so far, it's not quite as much compression as maybe twisted roots where you have the knees crossed. But even so, there's still some compression on the abdomen. And so that's going to put some compression on the vagus nerve, helping to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So here we're just going to work on letting go. So I think finding our inner strength also really requires calming the nervous system a bit. I think that when we can calm the nervous system, we can find more joy. I think we're more easily optimistic when we bring our stress down. And so we can connect with our inner strength, think a little more easily when we unwind. So just working on that unwinding process. Look for where there's tension. I'm really feeling it in my eyes today. So any place at all where you feel like there's some muscle tension, clenching, work on letting that relax. Alright, we're gonna let this side go. So unwinding slowly. Now truthfully from cattail, sometimes I'll come onto my abdomen rather than rolling to my back. So you can choose to go either way. If that feels good, maybe come onto your abdomen. If you're on your back, again, you're noticing, what are you feeling? Do you want to just be still? Do you want to move a little bit? If you're on your belly, same thing. Maybe you're going to bring your feet up and sway the legs a little bit from side to side. All right, so we're gonna take it into the second side. So same thing. I'm gonna flip here. So if you want to do your gentler twist, just feet on the floor, dropping your knees over to the left side. You're gonna do a cattail. We're gonna roll to the left side. Bring the right leg across. And then the left leg is gonna move backward. We're gonna see what happens on this side. And so again, if you're able to, oh, that feels good. If you're able to reach the foot, you can hang on to the foot. And then we're gonna work on letting go. I think it can be I think the twists can be a little hard, especially this one, especially cattail. I think it can be a little hard to really get everything to let go. So I think it's a good practice. It's a good pose to practice that process of letting go. So where is there tension? Can you sink down a little bit more into the floor? All right, I'm feeling better. How about you? So just noticing, is there some shift? Hopefully it's a shift in a good way, and I think sometimes being still can be a little bit agitating. So if you're noticing that's happening for you, it may not be a good time to practice, or maybe it's just not a good time to be still for so long. All right, so just coming onto your back, we're going to take a few breaths. Anywhere you want to be here, what feels right for you. And then if you want to bring knees in, maybe just hugging the knees in. Maybe it's happy baby, grabbing your feet and pulling your feet in, or letting those feet separate, soles pointing up. So happy baby is really about pulling the knees down in the direction of the floor. So if that needs to be, right, arms kind of wrapped behind your knees, or hands holding on to the thighs here right behind the knees, you can get that sense of pulling the knees down to stretch the low back and to open up the hips. And you can be still, or you can rock a little bit in your happy baby. And then let's just take it into a little reclining pigeon here. So we're going to bring a right ankle on top of the left thigh, hang on to the back of the left thigh, squeeze in. So again, you might rock or shift your weight a little bit from one side to the other. And then we're going to let both feet come up into the air. Pull those legs in towards you. Push your heels up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring left ankle rested on top of the right thigh. Hang on to the back of the right thigh. Squeeze in. And again, are you going to shift a little bit? Breathe. And then we're going to bring both feet back up into the air. You can reach big toes. You can pull legs in towards you from your toes, or just hanging onto the backs of the legs. All right, and then we're going to come on up. Oh, there's always so much work to be done on the body, right? There's only so much time, and there's so much work to be done. So let's just do a couple little shoulder squeezes. So we're going to bring shoulders up towards the ears, elbows come back and up towards the ceiling, head can tip back into the shoulders. And then slowly let your shoulders come back down. And head might start to tip forward. Take a breath and turn to look to your right. Come back through center, turn to look to your left. Come back through center. Let your head come up. We're going to do shoulders up towards the ears, elbows back and up towards the ceiling. And let those shoulders come back down slowly. And then this time we're going to reach out and up. Hold on to your right wrist, bend a little bit to your left. Come back to the middle, hold on to left wrist, bend a little bit to your right. Oh, tight, 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 tight. All right, we're gonna come back to the center. We're gonna shake it out, take a breath. All right, hopefully that feels a bit better. Okay, so wide leg forward fold. No. Yes? No. I don't know. I'm thinking head to knee pose is really what I think is the better place to go. All right, we're gonna do feet out straight in for legs out straight in front of us. We're gonna pull the left foot up and we're gonna lean in over the right leg. So as always, you can use something under your arms. You can put blocks, you can put pillows. You can put something across the leg too. So if you have, again, like a blanket, a towel, a pillow, you may put that right on the leg and lean in. So we're gonna try to stretch out the lower back into the hip. Now we're gonna stretch out this leg to finding your spot. And now we're gonna start to focus a bit on inner strength. So where does inner strength reside in the body? So when you're really feeling strong emotionally, what does that feel like in the body? Is there a place where that emanates from? So just notice, is there some place in particular that where you think about that? So for me, I often think of the solar plexus, right? So top of the abdomen, right? You know, where the ribs come in, right? In that little spot there. I often think about the solar plexus as being that kind of spot of inner strength. So see if that resonates for you. But again, if you have a different place, you can focus on that. So maybe imagine there, if there's a place in the body, or maybe you feel it everywhere. So maybe there's a bit of light in that spot. And so just imagine maybe this little bit of light kind of swirling, this inner strength. So even if you're not feeling particularly connected to your inner strength, just know that it's in there. And that it's moving, it's alive, it's flowing. Just trying to get this sense of inner strength in the body. And feeling that it's ever flowing. It's not stuck, it's not stagnant, it's flowing. Okay, we're gonna come on up. Whew. Slowly. Oh, that felt good. I kept getting like a little deeper, but coming out was still hard. Alright, taking your time. We're gonna stretch the legs out. Maybe lean back onto elbows. Windshield wipers sometimes feels nice here. Just letting your knees sway to one side and then to the other. Okay, side two. So left leg out, right foot's gonna pull up. We're gonna see what happens on this side, folding over this leg. All right, so now we're gonna try to imagine that inner strength expanding outward. So just imagining some energy of inner strength, the sensations of inner strength, maybe that light is just getting brighter and more vibrant and expanding out. other side. Woo-hoo. Oh. Right, it's interesting, right? It's that resistance to change, right? Like, so it's like it's hard to get into the pose, and then you start to relax a little bit into it, and then it's hard to come back out, right? It really is. It's just like our whole being is resistant to change. Okay, so we're gonna do a back bend next, but I feel like maybe we should just stretch out on our backs for a moment. So whatever prop you want to use today, if you want to do a heart bench with 2 yoga blocks, you could do that. I'm just going to use a blanket today. I'm going to roll it up and do a little support across my spine. If you want to do along your spine, you can do that. So, you can use a yoga blanket, a yoga blanket, a yoga mat was what I meant. You can use a yoga blanket, you can use a mat, you can use a towel. So just something to, hold the body up a little bit, change the shape a bit. But if you like, first we'll come out on to our backs. Just be flat for a couple of minutes, a couple of breaths. Let your arms stretch out overhead. And again, maybe it's that little bit of, now it's a little more like a reclining deer pose or wash rag. Letting your knees shift a little bit from side to side. All right, so we're gonna put a little prop. I'm just feeling really good right now. I'm like, I could just stay there. All right, but we're gonna do a little back bend. So if you're gonna roll something, you wanna try to make it fairly smooth so that you don't feel like you're resting on lumps. I'm not usually good at anything that is needs a bit of perfection to it. So I'm gonna do my best here. This to roll up pretty smoothly. It's surprising what you can feel. All right, that appears to be pretty good, but we'll see when I line it. So you want your shoulder blades to go over, or it can be like right under your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades can be on it as well. And give yourself a moment to see how your prop is feeling. Does it feel like it's the right thickness? If it's too thick, you can unwind it a bit. If it's in the right spot. And sometimes just the smallest, right? It doesn't really take a lot, I think, to feel like a relatively intense back bend. So as you're resting here, if it starts to feel like it's too much, let yourself either just come off altogether and be flat, or to maybe make your prop a little bit smaller. So now that we've got, the front of the body open, so we've got the solar plexus, we've got the heart open. Imagine your inner strength just really radiating outward. Maybe like there's a big giant sun inside of you. And just feel that inner strength shining through you, just really brightly, really powerful. Feeling the sense of power within you. And feeling it just continuing to radiate outward. Feel that you can create anything in your life that you desire. So then we're gonna come off with the prop. So if you're on blocks, maybe roll to your side. If you've got something rolled up under your back, maybe just come into a bit of a bridge. Lift, push into your feet, bring your hips up, slide that prop out, come back down, let yourself be flat. And then we're just going to take it right into Shavasana. So however you're feeling like you're comfortable today, I'm feeling like I want to roll to my side here. So if you're going to do Shavasana on my side today, and if I decide, halfway through that I want to shift it, I will. So just try to get comfortable. If you're chilly, put something over you. Or again, if you just want that little bit of compression over your abdomen, you can put a little something over the belly. Let yourself just rest in your power. Breathe all the way into your abdomen. And notice how you are. Alright, so if you're coming up to seated, you can always roll to your side if you're on your back. And then we're going to take one more big breath wherever you are. Hands can be wherever they're comfortable. A nice long spine. Take a big full inhale. And release it out. Thank you for being here and sharing in this practice today. Namaste.